Welcome to another episode on our channel. So today it's all about Ben Affleck, Batman, and the civilian counterpart I created for him for Justice League. So what we'll do is we'll start with the superhero, go from the bottom of the stand all the way up to the top of the head, maybe do a little side to side because you might see a few more things that way, but spend most of the time on the custom figure. This is a Justice League figure. This is an SL Customs figure. I'll talk a little bit more about it. You probably never heard of them, but it's the only one I have of them. But it's a great figure. I mean, that's the complete set. So anyway, we'll be right back. So this is the Justice League stand, which is similar except for the nameplate itself, representing all different characters in the movie. Other Batmans who have been part of the Batman franchise have been like Michael Keaton, George Clooney, Christian Bale, and Ben Affleck. He's the tallest of all the leading role men who have played Batman. He's 6'3" tall, but the boots are awesome. The suit is very form-fitting. The cape is wonderful. It flows. It's not wired or anything like that. I prefer it that way. But posable too, even though it's form-fitting. Maybe not as posable as other figures, but not too bad. The belt there. Batman is primarily in black. And of course, whenever I display superheroes, I like to use the actual head sculpt versus the Batman ears and, just see the eyes of Ben Affleck. I think that would be disappointing versus seeing the actual head sculpt of the actor himself. So we'll pause now and get him on a turn tray so we can see him side to side. So these figures came out some time ago, so I'm not going to do a real tight close-up of the head sculpt itself, but we'll just go side to side here. You've seen Superman, Henry Cavill, and Wonder Woman from Justice League, Gal Gadot, and now Ben Affleck as Batman. So, and then we have the Flash and Cyborg left to see, as well as Aquaman. So we'll pause now and get the civilian counterpart of Batman on a rotating tray, and we'll talk a little bit more about Ben Affleck. So we'll be right back. We are back, and let me just talk about Ben Affleck. Grew up with his parents. His mother was a Harvard-educated teacher. Father, an aspiring playwright who was very much unemployed and alcoholic, unfortunately, as well. When he was 11, the parents divorced, and there's good news, though, in terms of the end outcome with his father. His father got serious about sobriety when he was 16 and checked himself into rehab facility and stayed sober, became an addictions counselor. So, that's good stuff right there. Younger brother, just the two of them growing up, was best friends with Matt Damon, and they co-wrote Good Will Hunting, which they sold the screenplay for $600,000. So in a sense, he kind of got the best worlds from his mother and father, the playwright from his father, the teaching, the organization, all that stuff from his mom. And he and Matt Damon collaborated on that script. So bright guy. He's done a lot of things. He did a lot of things before acting or during when he was an aspiring actor. He did carpentry, auto mechanic work, electrician work, bartending, and was a janitor at Harvard. He went to Harvard for 1 year, majoring in Middle Eastern affairs. Bright guy, speaks fluent Spanish. It's been referred to as one of 50 of the smartest Hollywood actors and actresses. I can't remember from what source, but he's a pretty bright guy. He's the only Batman. He's also donned a Superman outfit in a movie way back when in Hollywood Land. Can't remember what year it was, but he played Superman in that movie. He was offered the role of Bobby Mercer in Four Brothers and turned it down, saying it was too violent. It eventually went to Mark Wahlberg, who did a great job in that movie. That whole movie is awesome. If you haven't seen Four Brothers, you need to see that movie. That's a great movie. I'm trying to think of what else I might have missed. He's had a couple marriages. Jennifer Garner has 3 children, 2 daughters and a son from that marriage. That lasted 13 years. And then after that, with Jennifer Lopez for 3 years, no children. And recently finalized the divorce this year from that marriage. As far as I know, he's not currently dating, but I'm sure busy taking care of his 3 kids. He received the world's sexiest man label in 2002 by People magazine. He does impersonations and is pretty good at them. Apparently on one set where he kind of studies people on set and tries to impersonate them. When he was doing a movie with Morgan Freeman, he shared with Morgan Freeman his impersonations of him, and I think Morgan Freeman jokingly said, "If you ever do that again, I'll kill you." So he's pretty good, I guess, at that sort of thing. Along with playing poker, he's pretty good at that, counting cards and so forth. So a pretty bright guy with an interesting history. I'm trying to think if I've missed anything. Oh, his favorite superhero is not Batman or Superman. It's actually the Daredevil, and he did portray the Daredevil in one film. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I missed. His favorite actor is Harrison Ford, and there is a movie. I did end up, this figure came from Toys Wonderland. I think I shared that earlier. They were legit for a period of time. And I got really great, awesome deals from Toys Wonderland. I think this was like $66, $67, the whole thing, plus shipping and handling. So it was really cheap. I ended up getting 2 of them because I wanted to make eventually the accountant figure of Ben Affleck. And so I still have that head sculpt and some of his clothing, and I'll modify the clothing and create the accountant. That's a great movie too. If you haven't seen The Accountant, oh my gosh, you need to see The Accountant. And you need to see, I think it's Paycheck. Yeah, that's really a suspenseful movie. If you haven't seen that one, they're both really great movies. The Accountant and Paycheck, I mean, they're great movies. You ought to see them. You won't be disappointed. Like Four Brothers, even though that doesn't have Ben Affleck in it, since he was offered that movie and turned it down, it's still a great movie. So anyway, that's a little bit about Ben Affleck. If I think of something else, I'll share it a little bit later, but this is SL Customs, a very unknown brand. I don't know if they made other characters, but this one is really awesome. Comparable again to Hot Toys. The head sculpt is awesome, I think. The only thing that I contributed to this figure is my husband and I did the stand. This is a floor sample, again with the hole drilled out of it and the stand that supports the figure has been put into that opening. The other thing I created was these walking sticks. I had a walking stick or hiking stick for Wonder Woman that I made out of similar things. Wooden dowel and O-rings primarily, and the dowel was painted copper, metallic copper, so it has a nice look. I've got even the little handles to put your, on your wrist to hold the two pieces. These handles themselves are actually made out of weapons. So I have some steampunk weapons that my husband has made 3D printing. And if you look closely, you'll see that the handle on this thing is the handle here with the trigger and the trigger guard taken off. So it's just resting on here. And you might be able to see it a bit better in its resin form. I don't know. But maybe not. Maybe the painted form is more visible. But this is the part that I've used as the handle for these things. Just trying to save money, make something out of something I have and I'm not using. The metallic copper really sets it off. The electrical tape at the bottom, a couple of O-rings at the bottom, so you kind of have that look that you're hoping for. Anyway, we'll get some close-ups of these as we start from the feet, going all the way up to the top of the head. So we'll be right back and do that. So here's the floor sample that we used to make the stand. Here's the dowel, part of the handle from the gun. You can still see the trigger on it. Kind of cool. And the O-rings here, and then spaced out, and then a double O-ring at the bottom, one inside the other, little electrical tape on the bottom. So I think with the metallic paint especially, they came out rather well. So there are the walking sticks. He's got black shoes on. This is what came. The walking sticks did not come with the SL Customs, but the black shoes did, the brown pants. As we go up, you'll see he has black jacket with a hood and black gloves. On the hood, there's some fur. We'll see that in a bit, but he's got binoculars, a binocular case, gray sweater, a black scarf around his neck, a black shirt with, underneath the sweater, and of course, goggles at the top of his head. The head sculpt looks amazing for a 1/6 scale figure company that you probably never heard of, SL Customs. I don't know if they sold any other figures. I should look that up. But if you look at eBay right now, I see a few figures, but they're coming from China, unfortunately, but they're priced at $133, somewhere around there. So still selling well below what you would expect from like a Hot Toys figure, that sort of thing. So anyway, there he is as Bruce Wayne. And we'll pause and we'll do side-to-side shots as well as a close-up of his face. We'll be right back. So like I said, I got this figure from Toys Wonderland. They were selling a lot of different company 1/6 scale figures, but SL Customs, I'd never seen that one before, and I liked what I saw, went ahead and got it. For about a year, they were doing really good. Every time I ordered, I got what I wanted. It was packaged well. The prices were out of this world. Like I said, $67 or something like that. I ended up getting 2 of these guys. So several figures, definitely under $100 that you would expect to pay more elsewhere. I don't know how they did it, but for a while there, it was really consistent stuff. And then it started to fall apart. You'd order things, the cancellation button wouldn't even work. you wanted to hit that button and it went to a broken link. You couldn't cancel anything. Emails were fruitless. You couldn't get your money back. You weren't receiving your items. Had to go through my insurance company. And I have, not insurance, but my credit card company, USAA, was able to get my money back. But if I didn't have USAA, I would have been out of a ton of money. I wasn't expecting them to, they had been so faithful for a good solid year and a half. Then they must have gotten too many customers, overextended themselves. I have no idea, but they stopped sending what you had purchased. Of course, being in a different country, it's hard to get your money back. But I heard about them through Justin's Collectibles, where he does unboxings and that sort of thing. And he had to distance himself from them. They've been sending him figures to show and so forth. So he had some sort of business relationship with them. And he really distanced himself after they started to go downhill. They changed their name to Toys Apollo, I believe. I don't know if they're still in business now, though. But always check out the company that you're ordering from if it is for the first time. They were great for a while, until they weren't. So anyway, here he is, a lot of bang for the buck for $67 or whatever it is I paid for him. And it wasn't just like SL Customs, but some Redmond figures I got for $75 or below. I mean, it was like holiday shopping, These figures would normally cost $150, $230 at the time, except for the lesser known brands like SL Customs. I got some Redmond figures, like I said. Those would have sold for more from other places. But for a while, they were doing really good. But he looks great. The head sculpt is spot on. And he comes with a lot of things. I mean, the binocular case, the binoculars, the goggles, this jacket, so awesome. I mean, you can, in the back, you can kind of see the hood. I actually had to kind of sew it here in place to keep it down because it has a tendency to pop up. So that really helps if you can kind of just put a stitch in there to hold it down. So anyway, we'll pause now and get a really good close-up of his face. And you'll see that they did a really, SL Customs, I don't know if they made anything else. They did a great job on this head sculpt. We'll be right back. So we'll go side to side so you can see the details, but this head sculpt is amazing. Underneath the goggles on the right side are just some strands of hair, not string or anything like that. Spot on. There you go. So here's one last look at the Justice League figures that we've shown thus far. We started with Superman and Clark Kent, Wonder Woman and Diana Prince, and now Batman with Bruce Wayne. I hope you've liked what you've seen. If you have, consider giving us a thumbs up and subscribing to our channel. We still have 2 more to go. Actually, 3 more to go. We have the Flash, Cyborg, and Aquaman. So we will be done after. It'll get crowded, but we need to see all of them. And then I'm going to be adding 1 more figure to my World War I collection. It'll be an Italian figure for the Allied side, and hope they have that up and running, I don't know, in a week or so. Fingers crossed. Everything's busy right now. So hang in there, guys. We'll be not right back, but we'll be back eventually. In the meantime, everyone have a great day.